guys, have you ever grown a plant just because it was beautiful, only to discover later, right, that it has a medicinal use too? So this is exactly what's going to happen if you peruse and are attracted to the flowers in your garden center for bee balm. You're going to take it home and you're going to grow it, and then you're going to find out it can help you. Most people know bee balm as a pollinator plant. They know it attracts bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, but what most people don't realize is that this beautiful native flower has a long history of medicinal use stretching back many, many, many generations. So today, I'm going to show you the bee balm tincture I recently made, talk about its traditional herbal uses, discuss harvesting and safety considerations, and explain why this herb has earned a permanent place in either my little container garden, or when I finally build that huge garden, it'll stay there forever. So first, let's talk about what bee balm actually is. Bee balm is also known as wild bergamot. It's a member of the mint family. So if you've ever grown any mints, lemon balm, oregano, thyme, basil, you're also looking at the cousins of this plant. One of my favorite things to do is to crush a leaf between my fingers, and you really don't even have to break the plant to be able to smell I can smell it right there. But immediately you get this incredible aroma. It's warm, spicy, herbal, slightly citrusy, all at the same time. That fragrance isn't just pleasant, it's actually one of the clues that tells us this plant contains valuable aromatic compounds. So I already harvested the flowers, but I don't know if you saw the video the other day with the big poofy, beautiful flowers on them, but bee balm is native to North America, and it has been growing here long before modern herbal medicine existed. Indigenous people recognized its value and used it for a variety of purposes, including teas and wellness support. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this, but there's a story about Oswego Tea. Sorry if I butchered that. One of the most fascinating pieces to me, especially as the country is about to celebrate her 250 years, is this plant was used, right, by the indigenous communities. And then when the colonists showed up, right, and they learned about it and began using it as a tea, after the Boston Tea Party, when imported tea became politically unpopular, many people turned to native plants like bee balm as an alternative, right? So she's our little rebel plant too. This beautiful flower wasn't just for feeding the pollinators anymore, right? She became a part of American history, and kind of fun to grow and know those facts. And if we ever have to be rebels again, might be fun to have on hand. I don't know. So let's talk about why I love bee balm. So here's the tincture. So when herbalists look at bee balm, we don't just see a flower, we see a plant with that tradition, right, of supporting the body in multiple ways, right? So traditionally, right, bee balm has been used to support the respiratory system. Herbalists often classify it as an expectorant, right, meaning it has traditionally been used to help the body move mucus and support healthy respiratory function. During cold and flu season, this is one of the reasons why many herbalists reach for their bee balm tinctures, teas, etc. So another way you can use it, bee balm has also considered a diaphoretic. I know we're busting out the big words today. And so this is a fancy term that simply means it'll encourage healthy sweating during a fever. So historically, herbalists would often pair bee balm with rest, hydration, and other supportive herbs when someone's feeling under the weather. Another use, bee balm has also been used as a digestive herb. Many people enjoy it as a tea after meals because it can help calm your occasional digestive comfort, right? Bloating, gas, things like that after meals. There's also an emotional wellness that's kind of compounded with this too, right? We can't overlook the aroma of this plant. Many people find bee balm uplifting and comforting. I actually feel better just sitting here by the plant. I mean, it smells amazing. And sometimes just simply sitting with an aromatic herb or making a cup of tea, slowing down for a few minutes, right? It can be part of our wellness journey too, right? We live in a go, 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 the world's ending type of mentality sometimes. So it's good to just, stop and smell the flowers. So one thing I often teach, right, when talking about bee balm and other things is when you're working with aromatic herbs, your nose can really tell you a lot about those herbs, right? When you're smelling bee balm, right, you're smelling those volatile herbs, and those aromatic compounds are part of what give this herb its traditional use and distinctive character. Strange cat fight going on right now. This is one reason many herbalists prefer using fresh bee balm whenever possible, right? So that's all that's in here is the fresh herb. We haven't used any dry material. You can see they're still quite green. So that fresh herb actually captures the aromatic waves, which is very difficult to catch that aromatic compound once you have dried the leaves. That's not saying I don't encourage you to dry some to have on hand for tea, but you're really going to get more bang for your buck when it's fresh. So speaking of preserving those properties, let's talk about this tincture for a minute. I recently prepared this bee balm tincture, as I said, using the fresh plant material, everything above ground, right? Tinctures are one of my favorite ways to work with herbs because they're shelf stable, easy to store, and convenient for use. Process is super simple, right? Clean, fresh herb, right? You want to make sure your leaves look nice and everything, but the clean, fresh herb goes into the jar. Alcohol is added. Jar is labeled. Time does the work, usually 4 to 6 weeks. Over the following weeks, that alcohol extracts many of the plant's constituents, leading to a concentrated herbal preparation. Now, I love how tinctures allow me to preserve part of the garden long after our growing season is over. So now, since I've already harvested because my blooms came in at the point that I needed to harvest them before I could do a video, let me just share a few tips, right, for anyone that's growing bee balm, wants to grow bee balm, or has access to maybe a neighbor's bee balm plant. Harvest after the morning dew has dried, right? Choose healthy leaves and flowers. We don't want to be throwing brown, moldy, mildewy, anything like that into our tincture. Try to harvest before those flowers have faded and spent because you want to get as much bang for your buck. And always leave plenty behind for your pollinators, right? We always want to leave some behind. So when you cut just above the leaf node whenever possible. And this encourages more growth and more producing. I've already got new flowers showing up from the cut I did the other day. I need to cut these down just a little bit more though. The bees work really hard for this plant, right? So I really try to encourage them. So I leave some around for them as well. So let's talk safety, the always not fun parts of playing with herbs. But herbs deserve respect. And if you don't respect herbs, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. Bee balm by itself, though, is generally considered a safe and gentle herb and has a lot of traditional use, so it's easy to research and see how people have used it. But remember, everybody's different, right? So whenever you're trying a new herb, start slowly and pay attention, and don't start with a bunch of herbs at once unless you've already used those before. So if something goes wonky, you know it's the new herb you've tried. If you're pregnant, nursing, have any medical conditions, taking medication, please always speak to a medical professional, right? Not Google, a medical professional before you use this with other herbs tinctures or medicines, because some things are bad, right? Natural does not always mean it's appropriate for other people. Some herbs can stop the medicines you need for your life from working, right? Bee balm is one of those herbs that checks every box for me. It's beautiful, it's useful, it supports our pollinators. Personally, it smells wonderful, and it has a long history of use, so if I have to research it or dig into it, there's a lot of good notes and everything out there to be able to do that. And honestly, guys, I like it so much because of the smell and the beauty of it, that even if it didn't have a medicinal property to it, I'd probably still grow it because it's pretty. So the fact that it has a benefit to it is just even better. I always love multi-purpose plants. So, and to wrap this up and keep it short, bee balm reminds me of something that really got me into herbalism. Our Creator, right, filled this world with plants that are both beautiful and useful. And it's fun to kind of think about the flower, right, that fed that bee yesterday. It's helping me with my respiratory issues and everything tomorrow. I think that's kind of cool to think about, and it kind of keeps us linked into everything. And it's pretty amazing when you stop and think about the beauty of these things. So if you're growing bee balm, I'd love to hear how you use it below. Leave a comment, share the video, hype the video. It'll maybe encourage me to make more videos because I have 1,000 things going on. But also drop a comment below, right, of another herb. Take a guess of what you think we're going to walk through next. So until next time, guys, grace and peace and happy growing.